kids. All right, let's see if we work. And my green light's on, so I believe that we are on live. I believe it's like setting up. So if you guys are coming on for the replay, what's up? How are you? Please say hello. Hashtag, whatever you want to hashtag, advice. Oh, they got us in a new room here. So this is pretty different. So let's see, they've changed up. I haven't done a Facebook Live in a long time. So it appears that it's a little bit different, but we are live. So hello, you guys. I'm going to look and see who's live on my phone. I'll have to like check it out from here because I don't know how to do the interactive thing yet on Facebook. But,
I started a watch party. You know how they do.
Oh, watch parties. That's what it is. Okay. I can't keep up. Like stuff changes every day. I'm just trying to keep up with my life and my business and my finances. I ain't got time to keep up with all of this technology, but technology is like golden. Like we need it. Social media is so necessary in our lives.
Exactly.
And one thing that I notice is that a lot of people are on social media giving advice. Some people are giving incorrect advice. Some people are giving great advice like yourself. And a lot of times I think it could get really, really, really confusing a lot of times. And so I was like, you know what? I want to do this this message, this live here on advice and who we should be listening to. And for me, I listen to you. I find you to be very knowledgeable. Like you have really schooled me on some things that I didn't know. It's like we think we're doing something until we see and put ourselves in other circles and realize, wow, there is so much that I did not know. There's so much new knowledge to gain, a lot of different information. And it's stuff that we've heard about before sometimes, but then it's not. And so you're in the financial space. I'm in the business development, marketing, branding space. And so what we do is we to help develop people. We help make them better in their lives and in their personal and business lives. So if you don't mind, you're on my audience. A lot of people know who you are already, but there's tons of people on here who don't. So just give us a little breakdown of who you are and what you do for people.
Yeah, of course. I want to say, for you, I mean, you are phenomenal in what you do in the branding world. I mean, you like a superstar. So I kind of, been watching you and I like that. And I mean, you're doing great. So kind of, give yourself kudos for that. That's awesome. But I've been in the business. I've been in the financial service industry now going over 20 years. And I was young, 24 years old, didn't know anything about money other than just working a job. I was working at IHOP when somebody gave me a business card. And, and I would call the lady up. I said, hey, I got your card. I'd love to find out more. And she said, sure, come on. So I kind of felt special that she gave me a card, in front of everybody. I mean, all the folks that worked at IHOP. So I called her. And I went down, sat down with her, and she said, yeah, I'm surprised you called me. I'm like, what do you mean? She said, well, I kind of gave out about 2,000 cards, and you were one of the first people that called. I'm like, wow. I said, okay.
Wow,
so
you were hungry.
I was hungry, man. I wanted to do better. I wanted to find something better than IHOP, right? So when I got into that company, I started working with them and started prospecting, understanding what they were teaching. And then I finally got my financial industry license, getting the insurance, the securities license, everything to be a financial planner. But then as I continued working in this industry, I started realizing, man, all these folks are in the same box. They're doing the same thing. We're pushing the same product, 401k, mutual funds, stocks. I'm like, wait a minute, there's something. What are the wealthy people doing? Because every time I see an old guy, he's driving a nice brand new car at age 65. I'm like, what is he doing different? And then I see some other folks that are working at Walmart at age 65, working at McDonald's. So why is these two people different if they're all doing the same thing? I actually went and sat down with a woman at Walmart one day, and she was older lady, and I said to her, what made you come work here? You know, at this age, you should be retired. You should be, you know, what did you do for a living? And she said, you know, she worked a full-time job. She was she had a good job. She donated, put a lot of money in her 401k, but she ran out of money. I'm like, wow. She said, I said, how come? I said, you contributed to a 401k, right? She said, yeah, I did that, but I ran out of money. I said, wow. So I still didn't understand that because I was still young in the business. So finally I said to myself, you know what? I need to just step outside of this box and start researching wealthy families and see what are the wealthy people doing in this country that makes them able to build generational wealth and keep it from one generation to the next and continue to grow it. And everybody talks about generational wealth, but nobody ever explains how to effectively do it because there's so many people that build wealth. They build massive amount of wealth. But once they die, I mean, perfect example, you know, Prince, right? You know, they die, boom, everything goes to the government. That's why the government have what they call inheritance tax, and they also have estate tax. You know, so many people sell insurance or whatever the case might be, but they don't realize there's something called estate tax that people got to pay when you pass away. You still got to file taxes at death. So I'm like, but why is it that the 2%ers only pay anywhere from 5% to 16% when they pass away? What are they doing different? So that changed my whole life when I started researching. You know how it is in life. Whatever you put out in the universe, the knowledge is going to come. The teachers are going to appear when the student is ready. So that's what happened for me. And I started researching. I started looking online. Started just understanding wealth. And I found a book actually called The Tax Secrets of the Wealthy. You know, the gentleman, my mentor, you know, he was 75 years old. And I didn't know who he was. I just found his website and I bought his book. I paid $4,000 for that book. It was like 15 years ago.
Is that the book you sent me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I paid $4,000 for it. $4,000 15
and
years
I got
ago.
it for free. Hey, this is why you gotta have friends, right? This is why you gotta have friends. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. So, and he called me at about 11 o'clock at night, and we spoke for 2 hours.
Wow.
And he asked me, he said, Douglas, you know, I've looked at your website. I like it. I was young. I was in my 30s. I like everything about your website. And he asked me, he said, what made you spend $4,000 for my book? It was like a binder, basically.
Binders.
I said, man, yeah, yep. And I said, listen, you know, I want to learn the secrets of the wealthy. And he said, okay, I like that. And then he told me things to do. And again, for me, I always believe in order for me to get to the next level, and if you're going to talk to somebody that's very, very successful, the guy, he said, listen, I'm 75 years old, I'm retired, and I don't do anything. I just consult with wealthy, you know, families. And he said, do you have wealthy clients? I said, no. He said, do you have any athletes? I said, nope. He said, okay. He said, once you finish with this binder I'm going to give you, they're going to come to you, and you're going to have, you know, they'll come. And I said, all right, sure. So we had a great conversation. And then what I did, you know, I had a very, very successful client that massively wealthy that wanted to come do some business in the United States. And I introduced them to the gentleman, to the 75-year-old. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to learn what this guy got. Mm-hmm. And that's how wealthy people will teach you stuff. They're not just going to sit down and, you know, people say, oh, go have coffee with them. Yeah, it's good to have coffee, but they don't have time to go sit and have coffee. Bring them business, bring them money. See? So I'm
pause for the cause.
Right.
You guys that are listening, I really hope that you are taking notes in what he's saying, right? I really hope that you're listening to what he's saying, because I talk about this a lot, about sitting at tables and building our own tables. And we got to build, you're building your table. I have a table people can come sit and eat at. You have a table people can come sit and eat at. But it's also good to sit at other people's tables and eat at their tables and learn from them. And the best way to, it's actually one of my principles in my book, Brand Equity, is sometimes you got to pay to play. You got to pay
to play. Yeah. Ain't nothing free. I mean, you know, if you're looking for free lunches and stuff like that, you crazy. Right. You know, pay up, put some. So I mean, I brought this guy a business, and he's like, all right, let's work with your client, and that's what we did. He just worked with the gentleman, and I got paid real nice check after that, and I
Learned a
got a lot
lot.
of knowledge, and I
Yeah.
got a lot of
Yeah, you
knowledge,
got paid
because I
and you learned. Wow. And then what I
yeah,
love about you, Douglas, is that what you learn, you're so open to teach it to other people, as long as they're willing to invest in themselves and they're serious and
right.
they're hungry and that kind of thing. So that's one thing I really love about you. But keep going. This is good.
So yeah, so that basically took my business to the next level because now I acquired knowledge and now I have a very, very successful mentor that was able to open up other doors and introduce me to some of his circle. And unfortunately, the gentleman passed away because he was 75 years old 15 years ago. So he died. His website is shut down. I mean, there's nothing going on there. But I have a lot of knowledge from him. So something that he said to me, he said, listen, with what you're doing, I wish I was still as young as you, and I'm gonna pour into you. And he did. So it was great. And so I always tell people, I say, you gotta be careful where you get information from. And one thing he told me back then, he said, listen, I have my real estate license. I'm an attorney. I have my insurance license. And he said to me point blank, he said, because I see you sell insurance a lot. He said, yeah, he said, you need to stick to that. He said, that's one of the best products in the country, and one of the best financial products that you can ever find. And another day I was at the airport heading to LA, Los Angeles, and I was on a transit in Boston. And I was just sitting, we were waiting for a flight, and I was just sitting down. There were so many people, and this gentleman was next to me, young guy. He was about 45 years old, and he was on the phone. And then when he got off the phone, he looked at me, he smiled, and I said, he said, man, don't ever work for your wife.
Don't ever
So we
what?
started laughing. Don't ever work for your wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Right. So he said, listen, I'm retired. I'm 45 years old. My wife runs a logistic company, so I'm helping her with that. I'm like, man, how you retire 45 years old? He said, listen, I invested well. He said, this is it. He said, my dad bought us, because he asked me what I did for a living. I said, I do financial planning. He said, wow. I think this was when the market people were losing money in the stock market. Mm-hmm. I said, well, he said, man, this must be a tough time for you. I said, not really, because I don't do, risky investments. I do more safe stuff. He said, what, life insurance? I said, yeah. He said, man, that's a great thing. He said, when I was young, we never understood why our father kept pushing us to get life insurance. Mm-hmm. We never understood it. Mm-hmm. He said, I was able to retire with over $3 million cash in my insurance policy. I also have a lot of gold that we bought there, but we keep moving it from one storage place to another. But he said that made me retire. All our family, my kids, everyone has one. So that was another confirmation, another stamp that says, man, you need to, and then I asked him, I said, man, what do you think about these folks on TV? Like, I told him Susie Orman, because I was young. Yeah. So, I mean, he said they don't know anything.
Because they work for the companies that they promote.
Exactly. He said just watch them and watch who is advertising in their TV show. Mm-hmm. And then you see who's paying them. He said, well, keep going, doing what you do. And he rolled out. I mean, I'm like, wow, okay. So that all those things was confirmation for me to say, okay, so what I teach people, I say, listen, at the end of the day, insurance, which a lot of, if that's what I talk about all the time, is a place to park money. It's not an investment. It's not an investment, but it's a place to park money. Mm-hmm. It's a garage. Yeah. And then you could leverage that garage to invest in high income producing assets. Real estate businesses. I've used it to do so much stuff. I mean,
one thing you say too a lot, you use that money to invest it in business, real estate, and so on and so forth. And I know what you've been sharing a lot is that the interest rate is so much cheaper to borrow. You're basically borrowing from yourself. It's a different. It's a different type of bank.
It is. Basically, what you're doing is you're using your money as collateral to borrow money from the insurance company. Mm-hmm. The insurance company loans you the money at a simple interest rate, and then your money is still earning compounding interest.
Mm,
and you also have a protection on your life just in case
yeah.
something happens. Because one
Right.
thing we know, we are gonna die, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna
Right.
happen. We just don't know when it is gonna happen. But
Right.
in the meantime, while you're trying to build this wealth, the insurance comes in to say, hey, in case something happens to you before you make that million, your
Mm-hmm.
family will get the million,
Yeah.
right? So either way, you're gonna win.
Yeah.
So and it's tax-free money. So that's so crucial. See, I
Yeah.
could leave you a bunch of land. I could leave you a bunch of houses, but you still got to pay taxes on those things. But
Mm-hmm.
if I leave you $10 million cash, properly structured in a life insurance contract,
Mm-hmm.
you pay zero taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if now then we go into a different level because as my clients, because I have different variety of clientele,
Mm-hmm.
so we meet them where they're at. As
Mm-hmm.
their income grows, then we introduce them to other strategies that
Mm-hmm.
helps them keep a lot of their money.
That's what I'm signing up
So,
for, y'all. That's
so
because over the last 2 years, my income is just, and I know I'm not doing what I could be with it. Because people think once you have a business and you making six figures, multiple six figures, whatever, that you're building generational wealth. But in fact, that is so not true. There's so many other steps and processes and principles to it. And that's what you teach and do it for people. And that's dope.
that's what we do.
And that's
Yeah, I
dope.
mean, because there's things you could put in place. Because there's one thing I'll tell people right now is there's two systems in America. Two systems. There's a system for the wealthy, and there's a system for everybody else.
Yeah.
So the question is, who are you listening to? So at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if they're teaching you the system for everyone else, then you're gonna be like everyone else.
Yeah.
Once you start making 6, 7 figure income, I always say you're no longer a civilian. You're now on a different level, so you can't be doing the same financial planning that somebody that's making $50,000 a year makes. And nothing wrong with that. But if
Right.
you're making 250, 300,000, $1 million, 2 million, why are you still doing the same financial plan that a guy that is making 50 grand, $30,000 a year is doing?
That
Because
makes
think
so much
about it.
sense. That makes
A
so much
person that works at McDonald's has a 401k plan. You working with you have your own company making 7 figure income. You have a 401k plan. That's some crazy crap right
That
there.
makes sense. It doesn't make sense. But again, it made sense to me before until I started taking advice. Again, you guys, we got to be careful. This is what this is about, is who are you taking advice from, right?
Right.
For me, there are only two types of people I like to take advice from. Someone who has been where I am now or been where I've been before. That's it. They have to have that experience. Or someone who is where I want to be in their life, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially,
Right.
educationally, like everything. Other than that, I'm not really listening to you, because a lot of times people who have not been where I've been are not going or are at a place where I would like to be, they're just regurgitating information. They're just,
That's it.
sharing information that they may have read about, but they haven't experienced it. And so what I love about the circles that I'm creating, right, the tables that I'm sitting at, and the table I'm creating, is that I'm learning more and more about, and it does have to do with your socioeconomic status as well, right? But not necessarily. What is your advice for those who may be making that $50,000, $30,000 a year? What can you, and that's not, we're not knocking anyone.
No.
We're not knocking anyone, but this is for those of you who are hungry, who really do want to leave a legacy and really do want to create this generational wealth. What can you say for those people who are in that place right now but want more?
Yeah, definitely. One is you gotta be very, very mindful of the money that comes in. You gotta remember, your dollar today is more valuable than your dollar in the future. So your money, wherever it is, it needs to be working for you. And you gotta be very careful how you spend money. And that's one thing I do, which we do very well with our company, is we help our clients find money in places that they're throwing money away unknowingly because they don't know they're doing it, and unnecessary. We could help them fix it. And and some of those places that I found that people are throwing their wealth away is like mortgages, because there's so many advice that the mortgage companies give, the banks give. Make extra payment on your mortgage. Do this. I used to tell people that stuff. You could pay off your mortgage in 15 years with paying extra payment. Until I started realizing, man, it sounds good, but all I'm doing is making money for the bank. Because the bank is taking my money and they're loaning it to somebody else. And I don't have time. Time doesn't, we got to grow. We're growing. So I need my money to be working for me.
Right
and if
now,
I bring
right
in
now.
right now, making money, because if I make $1 and and the bank is taking 34% of my dollars in interest and all this stuff, that's a lot of money. And then the federal government is taking 40%. See, most of us will ever realize how much we pay in taxes. 40% of our income goes to taxes. What do you mean by that, Douglas? They only took out 28% from my paycheck. Well, how about utility tax, gas tax, property tax, all these taxes that we're paying in addition to the paycheck tax? That's 74% off of two people that you don't even know, the government and the bank. They took 74% of your income gone. And then you got to enjoy yourself. You got to do your hair, look beautiful, do all those things. And then you have a 23% is there. Then you have financial advisors that's telling you need to cut down your lifestyle. You need to stop eating out. You need to stay and don't watch cable and all that crap. Man, you work hard for your money. Why I'm gonna go out work 40 hours a day or whatever, how many hours you work, a week, go home to sit down and eat ramen noodles, all because I want to save. No, I need to find a way to cut down taxes, because the government say, hey, listen, it's okay to find ways to minimize taxes. They just don't like tax evasion. Yeah. Unfortunately, people think the government is so want to take. No, they say just find a way to minimize your tax bill. That's all we want. Look at the guy in the White House. He hasn't showed his tax record. Right. And he's in the White House. He's not the only one. There's a lot of them like that. So if we could reduce that tax.
But it's actually totally legal. It's actually.
Of course it's legal.
Right.
He said, the thing is, some people get focused on all this whole politics stuff. I'm like, why don't you all watch and listen? Sometimes you listen. Sometimes, even a madman, we have a saying in Africa where a mad person on the street can say 20 things, but one of those things is very valuable and you pick it up. So pick something up. Listen. Don't just get upset. Oh, he's saying crazy. Just listen carefully. He might give you one nugget that you can run with. What did Trump say? He said, listen, I'm just following the tax law. All right. So what law are you talking about? See, the wealthy pay a lot of money to have tax folks, because remember, whoever is a tax advisor or whatever the case might be, used to work for the IRS. Like my tax guy helped write the self-employment tax law. He's very knowledgeable about taxes, but he's not cheap either. Right. So for me to go to him, I got to pay to make sure he keeps me straight and stuff like that. Right. But he knows the law, but those are the kind of things. So it's very, very important for a guy making, because it's not that saying that goes, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. It's that's so true, and the banks understand the money and they want to get it away from you fast. So, yeah.
I'm so glad, because I saw this little meme going around, and I don't respond, and it's fine, because we don't know what we don't know, right? Don't. That's why we have to be very careful about the advice that we're taking and who we're taking it from, because I saw a lot of folks posting something about I don't know. They had all this financial advice, and I saw like 35 people posted, and none of those people were even doing what what they were telling them to do, and then it was misinformation. But that's because they had not experienced what they should be doing. That's why we have to be very, very careful. And I'm not knocking anybody, because we don't. I would say like 50 to 75% of what you're saying are what I've learned from you. Let's say that, because you're just you only sharing just a little bit right now. But what I've learned from you in this short period of time of knowing you, which haven't even been a full year yet, is I lost my track. I lost my train of thinking. It's basically I'm saying be careful of who you're
Right, right.
listening to. But you're very, very knowledgeable, and I thank you. I know you have a meeting at 10 o'clock. What kind of meeting you have
Yeah, I got a no, I got
at
to train. I train financial advisors, so I have about 200 of them that's going to be on the call tonight from 10 to 11. I've been doing that training for the last 15 years, every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. with
So
all
is
my
this
agents, because I've,
all your
mhm.
agents? Okay,
Yeah, just the guys in my organization, ladies that work with me, we train. I train because I believe in teaching and educating them so they could go out there and do and help the people. Because
mm,
I can't help everyone. They have folks that they know that they need to help. So I put a plug. So we're always looking for people. This is a great business to be in for
yeah,
folks that are
that's why
looking
I'm
to get
getting
into
it. I wasn't gonna
financial
say nothing.
services.
I finished my. I'll talk to you later about that.
Okay,
I just
okay.
gotta take my test.
Financial services. We need more soldiers in this industry. We need more soldiers in this industry. And our organization, I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. Me and my business partner, Anthony, we're the number one and the first black IMO in the country. They don't have a lot of that around. So that's awesome. So I mean, we're just doing it. I mean, him and I been in business. He was actually one of the first people I saw driving a BMW 20 years ago in the business.
Mm,
That company I first went to, he was right there. He was there. So, I mean, I got in now, him and I are business partners, and we're doing things. And that goes to show you this business is so huge
mm.
that it's just phenomenal. And I enjoy it, and I love doing it.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So you guys make sure you follow. He's always sharing some wonderful tips, great advice. He's a great person to connect with. But definitely, if you're looking for a career field, or if you are a current agent and you want to get what did he say on death row? If you want to,
Yeah.
what's his
If you
name?
if you want a manager that is not
All
up in
in
your
the video.
videos,
Come to Largo
all up in your
Financial Services.
that's right.
You know I'm crazy, right? You know I'm crazy, right?
That's
Well,
right.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you.
No
Literally, I
problem.
just texted them about an hour ago. I was like, hey, hop
I
on.
know.
I want to talk about advice because I talk to so many people all the time during consultations and the work that I do, and they're following the norm. They're following what everybody
Right.
is saying. And you know me, you guys know me. I am an advocate for going against the grain. I'm an advocate for stepping outside of that lane that everybody else is trying to drive in. I want to be over there with the Porsches and the Bentleys and the Rolls
That's
Royce. I want
right.
to be in that lane. I want to be in that lane.
That's
And
right.
not to say that one lane is better than the other. That's just the lane I want to be in, right? I want to be in it as well as carve my own lane. So thank you, thank you. Any other parting words? Anything you want to say before you go?
Hey, no, you see all the books behind me? You all go get that book. If you want to learn about creating generational wealth, there's a ton of information there. Go on Amazon, go check it out. Check out the reviews on there and just, pick up the book for yourself and your family and help and educate them. And then I have a new Facebook group that's created just for folks that have read the book, because I'm going to be sharing a lot of information on there because there's so much things to share. And I just realized every time I talk to people, I find out more information that, man, there's things that people don't know. So on my Creating Generational Wealth with Douglas, if you put it in there, Creating Generational Wealth with Douglas on Facebook, it will come up, and then you got to get the book and then read the book and understand it, because we're going to be doing trainings on that
That's
on there.
awesome.
But that's it. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you next week. Have a good night.
All right.
All right.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So we had his book in our Release the Chains collaborative. That was our book of the month um, for the month of June. And on our virtual mastermind, I said, listen, you guys, I'm not just putting no regular books in here. I'm putting books from people that I know, that I've learned from, that I admire. because I want us to win. I want us to win. And like I said, we don't know what we don't know, you guys. And we have to be very, 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 very mindful about where we're getting our advice from. We need to do research on who's sharing what. We can't just share something because it sounds good without not having the information. Get in different rooms. Like I met Douglas thanks to one of my girlfriends. She invited me to a investors um, group, where there was probably, man, it was had to be about, I know it was more than 8 figures in the room, right? And we were being propositioned to make an investment into a company. And it was just a dynamic table. And I networked. I don't know how me and Douglas became friends and business partners, because that big book that he was talking about, that he paid $4,000 for, he and I are putting a course together around that particular training, because that the information in that book, I'm telling you guys, we don't know it. We just don't. Of course, we're not learning in schools. A lot of our parents didn't have this information. I mean, they did the best that they could. You get what I'm saying? My mom, she did very, very well. My mom did great. She had a trust. But the trust that I've learned about from Douglas are different than the 501c3 foundations and things like that, and how you can, establish and buy property and businesses and companies under your trust. And so I am excited to be working with Douglas and rebuilding and elevating my own personal financial space. And at the same time, I too am investing in myself in becoming a licensed insurance agent, because I want to take the knowledge and do what he's done for me and share it with people. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about everything, just the knowledge. But again, it's about, again, being okay with sitting at other tables. The sitting at that table didn't cost me anything but some gas money. Actually, and then I took the person to dinner afterwards. So $100, right? $100 that's going to make me over eventually millions, right? Eventually millions. So be okay with sitting at some other tables. Learn from folks, learn from other people. So for me, as I say, I'm always excited about going against the grain, especially when it comes to building businesses, especially when it comes to building our brands, especially when it comes to doing things that all these people. It's so funny because I just hosted a mastermind here in my home, in my revenue room, and they kept saying, wow, like I was giving them suggestion. I'm not saying I know everything, because I don't, I don't, but I know what's being put into the brains of entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? I know that they're being tricked, or they just don't know. When you don't know, you don't know. You'll just take advice and you'll just try to incorporate it, and it doesn't work. You're like, what happened? I did everything I was supposed to do. But no, that wasn't what you were supposed to do. There are a lot of other ways in getting paid as an entrepreneur. And so they kept saying, I kept giving them tips and advice and resources and different, sharing different principles and different strategies on their brand and building their brand and making money different. They was like, man, that's crazy, because everybody says, or they said, or everybody said, and all of these other things. And it's so funny. So that's why and I'm like, that's so not true though. That's not for everybody, right? That's not going to work for you. And so I'm so excited about this brand equity bundle and this brand equity that I'm really diving and giving my all to. Like I'm like, it's like it's all I think about. I'm really passionate about it. And then of course I'm releasing some merchandise with some other ladies. The She's a CEO card deck, which is going to be a educational resource for people, for entrepreneurs, as well as a card deck. So we have a lot of things that I'm excited about, and then working with Douglas as well. So there's just a lot that I'm excited about. But again, it's about learning. It's about learning and taking advice from the right people. So when I drop it, you guys be sure to grab it. For those of you that are entrepreneurs, I don't care where you are at. I promise you, I don't care if you're making millions right now or you're just starting out. There's something in there for everybody. I have 21 different principles on building brand equity. Basically, it's how you build a brand that's a Rolls Royce brand. That's basically what it is, a luxury brand, a high income brand. Okay, a high income brand. So again, 21 principles, they're in no order. I tried to put it in the order and I was like, you know what? It don't matter. You could just flip it. I don't even have a book. You could just flip it, boom, principle, whatever. I didn't even number them or anything. It's just principle, bam. They're not numbered because I don't want anybody to think that these are steps. These are principles that you need to apply to your business and to your life, and it will help you create high income. How do I know? Because I've been right where a lot of people are, right? And I know from my own experience. From my own experience, my brand has a lot of equity. How do you think I was able to get into that room? Right? Because my brand has equity. Okay. So that's all. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Let me come on and see if you guys have any questions. Make sure you guys follow Douglas because he's a hoot. He's super cool. He keeps it professional. Unlike me, I'm a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know, I'm a little, you know what I'm saying? But let me go on here and I think it's gonna make a noise. Yeah, let me see. Do you guys have any questions or comments for me? What do you guys think about this, about what he shared? I can't see anything. How come I can't see any comments? I can't see no comments. Any questions or comments? It's a little delay here on my phone. Let me see if I go here, if I can see. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. I can't see. Any questions or comments for me? You guys, I'm gonna see how I can see the comments. I don't think I can. But either, oh, I think I just logged myself off. Oh, there I am. Okay. Okay. I see it's a little different. I see it's a little different. All right, you guys. So I'm looking on my phone to see if there we go. So there I am live. Any questions or comments? I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Please share this because again, he gave a lot of good nuggets, you know, in that short period of time. Imagine, you know, getting up under him, having him help you, having him assist you with your financial planning. Financial planning is for everybody. Everybody must be financially planning. Everybody must have somebody that has been there, done that. He came from Nigeria here to Canada, and then from Canada here. He didn't share his whole story, but his story is amazing. Of course, he came with just himself, no money, nothing, and now he is just, you know, living his best life, living his absolute best life while he's helping so many other people. So good night, you guys. I am excited that you guys came and joined me, and I'll see y'all later. All right, good night.